for checking in. And if you stopped by, you're probably here because you saw the thumbnail or the title that this was an overview of the 7 baby steps by Dave Ramsey. I wanted to put together a few videos on personal finance because I think it's an area where there's a lot of people who are under-equipped in America today. And because this is something I've gone through myself, I think I can bring some value and some insights that might just help you get out of debt yourself. I personally don't think that any conversation regarding personal finance is complete without including Dave Ramsey and the work that he's done to develop the 7 baby steps to financial freedom. This is an important subject that's more or less not taught in our high schools and universities at this point. And so there's a lot of people who are becoming young adults or who may very well be into middle age who are under-equipped to effectively handle their personal finance. And that results in a lot of people who are going into retirement underprepared or completely unprepared for life in retirement and the financial strains that it'll bring. My first video on this subject covered baby steps 1 and 2, and that would be the $1,000 emergency fund and getting out of debt utilizing the debt snowball. And like I said, Dave Ramsey didn't invent or pioneer the snowball, but what he did do was perfect the debt snowball. He's provided the best roadmap for people to follow to effectively get out of debt. This video will cover all 7 of the baby steps, but not in quite so much detail. It'll be more or less a broad overview. And I think the best service that I can provide today is to refer you to Dave Ramsey's book, The Total Money Makeover, and encourage you, if you're interested in getting more information, or if you're interested in being serious about getting out of debt, I'd like you to plug into Dave Ramsey and his system. So you have a critical decision to make, and that decision is your why. Why would you bother getting out of debt in the first place? And each of our motivations is different. Our whys are different. It would be a good idea for you to zero in on that why, write it down, and keep it in front of you, because that's what's going to keep you going when things get tough. Change is not easy, and going through the 7 baby steps sounds very simple as I outline it and go through it. Intellectually, we can look at the list and say, well, that makes total sense. I'll do it in that sequence, and it'll be fine. And it will be fine, but you have to work it, and it is tough. So you have to be clear about why you would want to do this. For me, I was just fed up. I was tired of turning money over to banks and other institutions in the form of interest, and I came to the realization that debt was my enemy. It was not a tool, it was not a faithful friend, it was my enemy, and it was eroding my quality of life. And so I made the decision to get rid of it. And it took us about 24 months from start to finish, but we got it done. And you can too. Sadly, a lot of people in America choose to remain in debt. And that could just be because they haven't gotten any better information. Intellectually, we can understand it's a bad idea to get into debt and to remain there, but still, a large number of Americans do exactly that. So you have to commit to changing, and you have to know your why. So let's walk through Dave Ramsey's 7 baby steps. Again, the first one is to save a starter emergency fund of $1,000. A lot of people say $1,000, well, that's not enough, that's too small. You're right, it is too small. And if only having $1,000 set aside makes you uncomfortable, then that's a good thing. You should be uncomfortable only having $1,000 set aside in your starter emergency fund. We want you to be uncomfortable so that you're motivated to get baby step 2 finished. Because as soon as you're done paying off your debt, as soon as you're done with baby step 2, you come back to your emergency fund and you're going to increase it. Let's talk about baby step 2. Baby step 2, of course, is paying off your debt. And you should be able to do that generally within about 18 to 24 months. Some people need to go a little further. Some people have an extraordinary amount of debt, and it might take you longer. But whatever it takes, it's worth it. Again, we talked about the debt snowball, which is baby step 2, where you structure your debts from lowest to highest, and then you begin attacking the lowest one, making minimum payments on everything, and putting every available extra dollar on the lowest debt so that you can eliminate it, and then you roll what you were paying onto the next debt. And you continue that process until they're all gone. And again, it might require that you take on an extra job. It might require that you work overtime. It might require that you do yard sales or have a side gig. Whatever it takes for a very limited, intense period of time. Again, baby step 2 is an intense period of time. You're not eating out during this time frame. You're focusing on doing the basics. At home, it might mean that you're eating rice and beans for 24 months. That you limit lifestyle in a very aggressive way to free up dollars to pay off that debt. But once you're done, you can make changes to your lifestyle again. Okay, so now you're debt free. And 24 months into it, 36 months into it, you're debt free, and it's time to turn back to the emergency fund. That is baby step 3, which is increasing your emergency fund. At this point, you will have implemented a budget. You'll have a much better grasp of what your spending patterns and behaviors are. At this point, you would have reduced lifestyle in such a way that you freed up a significant amount of income, and that income is no longer being applied towards debt. That's all paid off in baby step 2. Now you're in a position to aggressively save up to 3 to 6 months of expenses. It's an important distinction. Not 3 to 6 months of income, but 3 to 6 months of expenses. Your budget process should have helped you come to a clear understanding of what your actual expenses and capital outlay are on a monthly basis just to get through the month. And so your income might be $3,000 a month, but if your monthly expenses out of pocket are $2,000 a month, then in order to achieve the 3 to 6 month threshold, at least 3 months of those expenses would be $6,000. Again, you're taking that $2,000 a month of expenses, multiplying that by 3, and you get to $6,000. The emergency fund is critical. And by definition, it's for emergencies. It's not for home renovations. It's not to expand lifestyle. It's not for vacations. It's strictly for emergencies. And if you have a circumstance that comes up where you have to access those funds and use them for a legitimate emergency, then you pause all other baby steps and rebuild that emergency fund. Once it's rebuilt, you resume the baby steps. And the same is true with baby step 1. If you've completed baby step 1 and you have the starter emergency fund of $1,000 and you're on to baby step 2, you've begun your debt snowball, but you experience an unforeseen expense for whatever reason, you have to spend all or part of that emergency fund of $1,000, then you pause the rest of the baby steps, you make the expenditure, and then you rebuild that emergency fund before you go back to your debt snowball. So once you've completed baby step 2 and you're ready to begin your emergency fund, your 3 to 6 month emergency fund, you have to decide for yourself whether a 3 month or a 6 month is going to be adequate. If you have work that's very stable, if you and your spouse, or if it's just you, if your employment picture is very stable, you might only need a 3 month emergency fund. If it's highly unstable or irregular, you might be better served with a 6 month emergency fund. So that's dependent upon your own personal circumstances. Once you've completed your emergency fund of 3 to 6 months, it's time to go on to baby step 4, which is to begin investing for retirement. And you want to invest 15% of your total income. That may seem like a shocking number depending on your income, but by this point, you should have eliminated all of your debt payments. You should have freed up a significant amount of income that would allow you to, in fact, achieve that 15%. And I should say, you'll be doing baby steps 4, 5, and 6 all at the same time. Again, 4 is the 15% investment for your retirement. And it's critical that you start that as early as you can. There are some folks who might want to put that off. As you go through the debt snowball and you get through baby step 3, there's a lot of folks who want to put their feet up financially. They want to take a break because it's been hard. But it's critical to proceed and continue working the baby steps. You should be able to dial it back a little bit just in terms of intensity. At this stage, you shouldn't have to work 2 or 3 jobs. You should be able to dial it back. You should be able to begin enjoying the benefit of now being out of debt. But it's critical that you proceed to investing for your retirement at the earliest possible date. And that's step 4 in the baby steps. Baby step 5 is save for kids' college. If you have children, it's a good idea at this stage to begin doing something for their education. And there's a number of options that you can research, whether it's a 457 plan. There's a lot of different approaches that you can engage that you'll just have to research to decide which is the best for you and your family. Baby step 6, and this is a critical one, is to pay off your mortgage. You want to begin putting any extra money above and beyond what you're saving for retirement and putting aside for your kids' college into paying off the mortgage. And there could come a time where you are finished. You may receive an inheritance, or you may receive unexpected money that allows you to take care of your kids' college fund concerns. Then you reorient and focus on paying off your mortgage. So all available dollars or unexpected money that comes in gets applied towards paying off your mortgage, because that's what's going to give you predictability and housing stability in your later years. And that may not seem important now, but for every retiree I know, when they have their house paid off or paid substantially down, it's a blessing. And finally, baby step 7 is to build wealth. Now, what's the point of building wealth? The purpose and the point is for you to enjoy some of it, for you to invest some of it, and for you to give some of it. And hopefully, by this stage, you have your personal financial life in order. You have things dialed in. And in baby step 7, you should be able to live and give with extreme generosity. And this is something that motivates me. I enjoy helping and serving others. I enjoy being active and engaged in my community. And being financially able to assist others is something that we enjoy doing now. But when the time comes that we are in baby step 7, I'm looking forward to being in a position where I can be outrageously generous in helping others. That's a great place to be. Again, personal finance conversations are very personal by definition. There's a lot of people who consider these topics off limits and don't want to discuss them. But if in discussing them here, if this video can help one person or one family achieve a better financial picture or achieve financial stability, then I'm happy. Then I think that it's been worthwhile. Again, I'd like to refer you to Dave Ramsey's Total Money Makeover book. He covers the 7 baby steps in great detail, and it's a great resource for you as you're getting started. Pick up a copy, check it out. You'll be glad that you did. So my next video is going to cover the metrics of success and why I believe you can be successful in any area of enterprise if you have the right attitude and mindset. I hope that you'll subscribe, click the button, hit the bell, and join us. Again, thanks for joining us.